Yo, what is good, everybody? It's your boy Golden Falls, Golden What If, whatever you want to call me, and I'm back. And I did not think I'd actually be doing this video, but after the crazy support of the What If Deku had a stat leveling Quirk, the movie, I've decided, after a bunch of requests, we will be going into the quote-unquote manga. So it's like the manga edition. And we're basically going to start where we left off. If you have not already seen the first part, or aka the movie, which is like the mass majority, make sure to go back and watch that. None of this will make sense if you don't watch that. There's a lot of information and a lot of stuff that I talk about in that movie that you'll need to know for this. Now, I'm not going to waste any more of your time, and we're going to get right into this what if. Let's get it. After Midoriya defeated Overhaul, they were able to bring in Eri and actually keep her under the supervision of UA. And Mirio and Midoriya actually help ease Eri into living there as well. The school festival occurs, and just basically as a I'm sorry to the other classes, 1A puts on an amazing singing and dancing performance to ease the minds of the people. This festival even gets Eri to finally smile for the first time since being released from Overhaul's evil grasp. After the festival, normal classes begin once again, and it's announced that training will once again commence. Their first class back, an alarm begins to ring. This is an emergency. Everyone in class 1A go to ground gamma. They all head out there and get their hero outfits on. When they arrive, they see the city in shambles. The students of class 1A, who basically have more of recon quirks like Jiro and Koda, do their job and scout for their best of their ability. A group is sent to recover Mirio from the water, as he is playing the role of a citizen in need, and others go into the city to face off against the villains. When they enter, the class sees Nejire and Tamaki as villains ready to fight. Nejire takes Mina hostage, and Tamaki complains, saying that he doesn't actually want to be there and he would rather just go home. Nejire convinces him to stay, and he begins to fight the class on a nearby building. Midoriya surveys the area and begins telling the class that he can knock out Nejire, just get ready to catch Mina on the way down. Midoriya takes a swan dive off the roof, and while mid-air, he throws these high-density seals at Nejire, and while mid-air, he kicks her at the building. Thanks, Night-Eye. Those did come in handy. He ties up Nejire and puts her in a safe area. He comes back to see the class fighting Tamaki, so Midoriya then charges at him while his class is down. Tamaki, using his octopus arm, swings at Midoriya, seemingly hitting him, and the class screams Midoriya's name, until Midoriya is actually behind him with a dagger at his neck. I forgot you can do that, Altair. I yield. The exercise is then over, and the class is allowed to leave. The next class then starts, well, the next day. Aizawa then explains to the class, today we will be doing a joint training session with class 1B. Most of the class is extremely excited, but Bakugo screams, saying that this will be easy and they are just a bunch of extras. Well, Bakugo, our class may have more experience, but class 1B has been growing steadily. Bakugo scoffs, and Aizawa tells them to head out to the field. Midoriya, please stay behind. I would like to speak with you. What's up? What's wrong, Sensei? Well, look. You currently are far beyond the other normal students here, so... Does that mean I can't participate? No, that's not it. Actually, I want something different for you. Like your own personal training. Aizawa then explains that after all the classes have gone, that Midoriya will try his hand on going against the entirety of Class 1B. Midoriya's eyes grow wide in shock, but excitement as well. The whole class? Yes, this test has mostly to do with Shinso. I plan to add him into Class 1A, but if you win, I will probably add him to Class 1B, because that means they could need some extra help anyways. I understand, Sensei, and I will try my best no matter what. Yes, I would love to have Shinso in this class, but that would take away the point of all this. Am I correct? Smart boy. Everyone heads out, and the teams are the same as in canon, but instead of Izuku, Shinso gets put on the team with Class 1A. Just like in canon, Class 1A is up by 1 win before the last match. But this time, in a 4v4 match, Class 1A is actually defeated because of the lack of experience Shinso has with One For All, and was being too dependent on his new quirk and not actually thinking of it as his own. Midoriya watches this, thinking that he needs to talk with him after the fact. Okay, Midoriya, time to announce how we will be breaking the tie. Okay, listen up, problem children. This training will not be ending in a tie. As you know, Izuku Midoriya has not fought yet. So he will fight Class 1B. Class 1B begins to talk and try and figure out who is best fit, basically for a one-on-one matchup, but Aizawa then interrupts. You misunderstood. It will be all of you versus him. Midoriya jumps on the stage and smiles at them. His stat screen then pops up, saying that he has a new quest that he has unlocked, called Defy the Odds. Quest line: defeat Class 1B. Oh, cool. I mean, I get a new item unlocked. I mean, that's a first. Aizawa looks at him in confusion, and Midoriya explains that he has a new quest, and it just says to basically beat them. Aizawa smirks, thinking that this kid even has extra motivation to go all out. Class 1B then begins to question how one person can beat them all, but Aizawa shuts them down. Listen, this is how it'll work. You all have 5 minutes to knock out or capture Izuku. You lose if he lasts the 5 minutes, or if you all are unable to fight. Momo from Class 1A begins to say that this is unfair, but Midoriya interrupts before Aizawa even can. I promise you this is fair. This is truly fair. Basically, this will test me on how far I've actually come. Class 1A agrees, and Izuku heads out into the city. The fight starts, and immediately he uses Assassin's Sense, seeing someone in the shadows, and he throws his high density seals at him, and when they connect, he is out cold. That's 1. 19 more to go. Aizawa then announces on the speakers that one person from 1B has been eliminated. Izuku heads into the shadows, sneaking around. He heads into the rafters to see Ibara trying to find him with her quirk, but he jumps down and puts a dagger to her neck, forcing her to yield. 18 now remain for Class 1B. Midoriya then sees a girl making the area full of mushrooms. Seeing that she's alone, he can basically just eliminate her as quick as possible here, because her quirk will actually eliminate his stealth in its entirety. Now that's those problems over with, I need to get rid of some of the, well, brains. Midoriya spots Kendo and 4 others from her class, and Monoma as well in the distance. I could wait this out now. All I really have to do is get rid of Tokage and I'm good. He then throws something to make noise in a different area, slipping by the group. In their starting area, he finds Tokage using her quirk to search the area. He swiftly knocks her out, and the intercoms announce that there's only 16 people left. Now all I have to do is, as Midoriya says this, the beast of 1B finds him, clotheslining him through a building. Damn it! I want to do this without getting hit. Midoriya stands up to see the last 16 of them standing in front of him. He cracks his neck. Now I guess the real fight begins. Midoriya throws multiple smoke bombs, knowing that only this beast can truly find him. Doing so allows for him to swiftly throw a dagger with a tranquilizer on it, putting him to sleep. Midoriya looks at his watch to see that there's only 2 minutes left. He jumps away to a nearby building, waiting for a perfect opportunity. Class 1A begins talking about how he really just needs to stall for time at this point and he will win. That all the main threats are gone in terms of his stealth. They all look to see him about to then jump off the roof. What is he doing? Aizawa smiles, thinking that winning may matter to this kid, but he still wants to stress test how far he's actually gotten. He begins fighting the rest of the class in hand-to-hand combat, adapting to their quirks as they are revealed to him, even revealing a light-weighted bow staff that he now has, so he can non-lethally attack them with a weapon that boosts his stats. Class 1A watches in amazement as he not only fends off the whole class, but is beating them, knocking out Kendo, then Monoma, and every close-range threat as fast as possible until there was only one person left, Tetsu. Midoriya left him for last in hopes that he can stress test his new bow staff on his metal quirk, until Midoriya then appeared behind him. It was fun, but it's over. He says this as he points his dagger at his neck. Yield already, my dagger can cut through things tougher than your steel. Tetsu yields, and Midoriya is announced the winner. Aizawa then tells both classes that they have a lot to learn, including Midoriya, because yes, 1B did have the numbers advantage by a lot, but the situation that was put into the class for Midoriya favored him a lot more than class 1B. The class asks how so, and he explains that he purposely put pressure on them to capture him within a time limit, as well as made them overthink on the fact that one person could actually beat them all, making you all a lot more subconscious about the actions you were taking. On top of that, the cityscape and areas to not be seen is Midoriya's ideal fighting area. He doesn't necessarily want to fight large groups all at once, and that is the only reason why he did so at the end of the test, was to put himself to the test even further. But he proved that with the given time, he could have easily picked all of you off one by one. He tells them that overall everyone did great, and that Shinso will be joining class 1B. Everyone is dismissed and they head back to the dorms. Nerd, I will say that was impressive. Everyone in class stares at Bakugo in shock. Stop looking at me, damn extras. He then walks to his dorm. Everyone then talks about how cool Midoriya was in that fight, and that in the 4v4s that they even struggled, but he seems just leagues above. I mean, it took a lot of training, guys. It's not something that just happened overnight. Oh wait, I actually almost forgot. Midoriya then begins tapping in the air, and he explains to them that he's actually just looking at his upgrade stats via his quirk. He sees that the quest is complete, and he unlocks something called the Hidden Blade, and it's a blueprint. Later on, he actually takes those blueprints to the support course, and they add it to his hero suit. Next class, Aizawa announces that they will be once again doing work studies, and to choose wisely where you go. Midoriya gets a message from Mirio telling him that Night-Eye would love to have him to come back, basically, and work with him once again. He agrees to do so, and for the next couple weeks, he worked with the Night-Eye agency on various cases, and even got word of something that the current #1 hero, Endeavor. Basically saying that someone that can not be named has given him intel and a code to crack. Night-Eye tells him to bring over what he has, and that Midoriya and him can crack that code for him at most by tomorrow. You got that much confidence in me, Night-Eye? Come on, kid. You know I do. A book arrives called The Meta Liberation War. Midoriya began analyzing the book. So Midoriya, what do you think? Night-Eye says this as he's giving him coffee. I discovered a message. It says that the League has a liberation army that numbers over 100,000, and that they will come destroy everything in 4 months. Night-Eye looks at him in shock, thinking that if he got it right, that this could be horrible. Night-Eye, can't you just use your quirk on me? Midoriya, you know my drawbacks. It's not that simple. Midoriya explains that if he looks 4 months forward, that he could and should be able to just analyze what will happen. Night-Eye sighs and decides to listen to Midoriya and uses his quirk on him. Night Eye sees many things, like their invasion of the hospital, Midoriya heading off to help someone that he can assume to be All Might's successor Shinso, but also this villain floating in the air. As many heroes stand around ready to fight, but he then sees something horrible occur. What did you see, Night Eye? Night Eye explains what he saw, about the whole plan that needs to be put into motion, and that he saw something else shocking. Midoriya, I saw Shigaraki and he wasn't the same. He's somehow stronger than before. I'm not sure how. Midoriya cuts him off before he can continue. Well, that is why I am here, right? I mean, hopefully I can figure out what is different about him. Midoriya, that's not it. I saw you and Shinso fighting him, and you die. You die to Shigaraki, and he still gets away. Midoriya's eyes grow wide. Night Eye, look. You and me know that nothing is set in stone. Don't worry about me. We need to secure everyone else's future. Midoriya begins to basically make a board of all the events that were explained to him, and begins to break down what could have or will occur for sure. Midoriya, we can't just ignore what I saw. Midoriya cuts off Night Eye. Night Eye, I get it. But as long as I can find out what is going on with Shigaraki, I should be able to prevent my death, or at least prevent his escape. For the next month, Midoriya tries to figure out what is going on with Shigaraki, and he begins to hypothesize, until he comes to a conclusion. He remembers back to what All For One said when he sent Shigaraki away. He calls Night Eye. Night Eye, you need to come here now. I figured it out. Night Eye, as fast as possible, goes to the agency, and Midoriya begins to explain. Night Eye, I think Shigaraki has All For One. What are you talking about? But he's in prison. No, I mean, he somehow got his quirk. I don't know. While we're invading the hospital. Midoriya, you can't mean there is a doctor at that hospital that is going to give him All For One. They then send the information that they found to the pro heroes, and they begin to formulate a plan. They plan to basically have multiple teams that will invade certain potential areas of attack by the League of Villains. And Midoriya is part of the team that will be invading the hospital, where they now know the doctor resides. Three months then pass, and throughout that time, agencies train hero students all around the country to be ready when the League invades. Midoriya's raid team on the hospital then stands outside, while he stands right next to Shinso. Night Eye then walks over. Midoriya, you think this is still a good idea? Night Eye, I understand the worry of my death, but I am stronger than most pro heroes, so me not being here would just hurt more than help. Shinso looks at him and nods, saying that they will break the future. They will break that future that Night Eye saw, and he will survive, and they will get Shigaraki. They invade the hospital, finding a clone of the evil Quirk Doctor, and when they work their way through, tons of high-end Nomus bust through the nearby wall. Midoriya, find Shigaraki. We will handle this. Midoriya and Shinso go running through the building, finding a tank with Shigaraki in it, with the Quirk Doctor doing something to it. Midoriya throws a dagger at him, pinning him to the wall. Shinso, destroy it! Shinso winds up a punch, but it's blocked by a high-end Nomu, and he goes flying at the wall. Shinso! Midoriya, about to fight the Nomu, sees someone come flying through the wall as well. Mirko comes to kick off the Nomu's head and tells Midoriya to destroy that tank as soon as possible. He does so, but a huge explosion goes off and forces everyone to evacuate. Midoriya then uses Assassin Sense to scout if anyone actually survived, or is anybody alive, until he senses somebody, and he looks up in the sky in shock. How is he? Shigaraki is floating in the air and is totally burnt, but his body begins to regenerate. Midoriya then thinks back to what exactly Shigaraki wants. He wants All For One. Now he wants One For All. Shinso, you need to leave. What are you talking about, Midoriya? He wants your quirk. Shigaraki begins to disintegrate the ground and the buildings around them. Most of the pro heroes have been pushed out of their current area, and what is left is just Midoriya and Shinso versus Shigaraki. Shinso, please run. If he gets your quirk, it's over. Midoriya slowly rolls down his sleeves, unveiling his hidden blades. But Midoriya, no buts, please just listen. Shigaraki looks at Midoriya and smiles. I remember you, kid. Now, let's see if you can beat me, the main boss. Midoriya charges at him with his daggers and cuts him in vital points, but he still just regenerates. Midoriya then stabs him with his hidden blade, but it's the poison version, but this time he actually can't regenerate. Midoriya then thinks that he can sense Aizawa in the area. Thank you, Sensei. The fight continues, and the poison begins to set in on Shigaraki, and he begins to slow down, but Aizawa can't cancel his quirk forever. Midoriya then thinks that he has one shot at this, and that he may not be able to change the outcome of his death, but he won't allow Shigaraki to hurt anyone else. He extends out his hands, and his hidden blades turn into extended shadow blades. And he begins to say, Shadow Assassin's Grip, Grim Reaper, a soul for a soul. A hologram looking like a shadow version of the Grim Reaper appears, and he strikes down Shigaraki, so much so that even his regeneration couldn't prevent him from being killed. Midoriya stands there with the rubble surrounding him with tears in his eyes, and his body burnt and broken. I did it. I broke your future, Night Eye. I'm sorry, but me dying, though, seems like it will still happen. The pro heroes run over, and Night Eye catches Midoriya as he basically just falls. And as Midoriya dies, he sees Night Eye calling for help and for Shinso to run him over to Recovery Girl as soon as possible. Midoriya then emerges in the afterlife, seeing what the embodiment of what he believed to be God was. I'm dead, huh? Yes, I'm sorry, young Midoriya. No need to be sorry. As long as everyone in that world is safe, I can rest easy. I'm truly glad to hear that from you then, Midoriya. Lightning and sparks begin to fly around his body. What the heck is going on? Your good deeds are making their way back around to you once again. Midoriya then begins to think back. Good deeds? What do you... Eri! This is Eri? Before he can finish, basically his sentence, he wakes up in a hospital bed with many people around him and Eri sitting next to him. Mr. Izuku, you're back! Everyone hugs him, and tears begin to fall down his face, and Night Eye begins to talk. Damn it, kid. When you are around, you always seem to be 5 steps ahead of me. And you did smash that future, didn't you? Midoriya smiles, telling them that he was ready to die, as long as it meant their safety. And this is the end of this What If. I mean, the manga edition of this What If, whatever you want to call it. If you enjoyed, please leave a like and subscribe. I had so much fun actually writing this part. This was the first time I actually wrote into the manga, and I know technically it's not fully into the manga, and I know half of it is already animated that I basically talked about, but we went into like the war arc and stuff like that, and I don't really see a reason to go any further with, I mean, obviously how the ending of this, I mean, right, it doesn't really make sense. But I will say I really enjoyed this, and since this video, or my original video of this, blew up like crazy, I had to hit y'all with this just to basically show like all the love and like basically tell you guys I'm appreciative of this love and support that I get. But this What If was one of my favorite ones. I will say what's up 100% is one of my favorite ones. It was so much fun to make. And like I said, if you enjoyed, please leave a like and subscribe. And blow this video up. If y'all want to see more manga editions in the future, blow it up. And we might be going back to older videos to make more manga editions, or maybe in the future our movies will have the manga intertwined within it. But that is it. That is enough of me and my rambling. I hope everybody has an amazing day. Later.